Hey everyone, Ro and Bree here. Bree and Ro. You know who we are.
Yeah.
um, we're going to come to you today with part two of a conversation about influence. So last week we talked about how to capture someone's attention. And this week we want to talk about how to hold someone's attention. Because I think we can capture attention all day, but if we're not holding it, what's the point?
Yeah.
So Ro, can you dive into it?
Yes. So one of the ways you hold attention, and one I remember my coach told me early on. He said, "Be interested, then interesting." People like to talk about themselves, right? And I think it's our insecurities and egos sometimes that gets in the way and say, "Hey, if I'm not talking about myself, maybe I don't matter." Right. So one of the ways to hold somebody's attention is to become highly curious. And one of the favorite things that I learned from my trainers and mentors is that they said that become so curious that you forget the next question. Because if you did, you remembered the human on the other side. So, how to hold somebody's attention is by being curious, by genuinely curious. And I think these are a few things that you cannot fake in life when it's about influence, because our nervous system would leak our intent and the other people pick up on it. So, how to hold someone's attention is becoming highly curious, be interested, then being interesting. And it goes a long way. It's very simple.
Awesome. Can we roll into the next question?
Yeah.
Okay. We
By the way,
talked.
she never asked me like, can we roll into? She just always rolls into. So I'm very confused why she took a pause and you were saying?
um, I wanted to go
Mhm.
into the time distance problem a
Yeah.
bit.
Okay. Yeah. So time here's what I think we have to understand, right? Like in our influence world, we often talk about, okay, build rapport with someone. Don't go for the ask right away. Have some connection with them, right? And just stay in touch with someone, and eventually they will convert. Eventually they will make a decision. But I truly believe eventually is for immatures. We don't get into business and conversations with people to eventually one day arrive at a decision. Sometimes decisions need to be made now. And matter of fact, longer someone sits on a decision, higher resistance we get from them because all their beliefs and external environment and other distractions start coming in, and the focus is removed from what's really important. So the time distance formula, as I learned in behavioral influence, is that how much time does it take for someone to move away from their current decision? Like, let's suppose somebody is in negative present. They're thinking like, I don't think I can do this. This is not for me, right? Brain never goes from negative present to positive present. It has to first go into negative future, then positive present. So now you can take this journey in 6 months, or you can take this in 6 seconds. So time distance formula simply means how quickly can you move someone away from the current resistance they are in. So if this is time, this is distance, this is time. And longer you move away, like longer it takes, less deviation you get from their behavior. So sooner is better. So if it's a yes or no, it's good to arrive at that point right away.
So you have to take them on that full journey, however long it takes. If it's like you said, 6 months or 6 seconds, uh, our job is to take them through that journey as quickly as possible. Otherwise,
Yes,
we can encounter more resistance in the future.
exactly. And a lot of people, we in our influence and training world is one of the things that happens all the time. People don't talk about it because it will kill the product. The sad thing is they teach us to follow up until they agree, right? Like for a very there are bad phrases out there, right? You follow up. Fortune is in follow up, right? If my fortune lies in follow up and follow up takes 600 follow ups, I'm going to be in my grave before I make my fortune, right? So it's important that we acknowledge that. So when people are wanting to move from that cycle of negative present to negative future to positive future, then positive present, what I'm really trying to say is that we don't have to go through that in 6 months. It can be done in 6 minutes in a conversation when we have the right frameworks. And I think that's what we would be disclosing in bite sized pieces as our next parts are released here.
And you can't go from negative present to positive present without going through the other things. And if you try to jump and they agree, it would be a false agreement.
Yes, exactly. We like for right now, we violated our 5-minute rule already, right? We were going to do it under 5 minutes and it's 5:12. But she asked a question, so I'm not going to leave it on a cliffhanger.
Or
So
should
let's
you?
suppose this. So let's suppose you called me, right? You and I talk about this all the time, right? We have rough days. Let's suppose there was a tough day and client negotiations were hard, things went wrong, and you calling me upset. And if I call you and I say, if I talk to you and I say, don't worry about it, just get over it. Look at the bright side. You have breath, you can walk, you can talk, your family is safe. Let's just move forward. Just drop all of this. How would you feel? Would you even feel heard?
Mm-mm.
No. So when someone comes to you with a negative present, you first have to take them on negative future. Okay, what would happen if this continues to happen? Like if we stay in this state and it doesn't change for us in 24 hours, it doesn't change for us in a week, a month, or 30 days, and it stays like this, how would that feel? It doesn't feel good. Okay. Well, what would feel good in future? What needs to change? What needs to be true right now for us to feel different in coming minute? Because whatever we accept in 6 months, we can accept in 6 seconds. But somebody has to walk us through that journey, right? So then you arrive at a positive future. And then if we are willing to change our state in 24 hours, what would it look like if we did that now? What would we need to give up to have it right now? We don't have to. And you give somebody full autonomy, because the most beautiful thing in influence is not telling people what to do. It is to help them rewire the way they make decisions, so they feel autonomy over how their life is moving forward, and you're just there to guide them. That is true influence.
I don't think I could have said it any better.
All right.
Stay tuned for next week.
I don't know what she's going to ask, but see you next week.
Bye.